I'll get you a new sandwich. I just had to do that. Felt so good.
Hey guys, welcome back to Industry Sunday with your hosts Jacob Levan and
Kennedy Novi. Welcome back, guys. Exciting.
yes,
This is episode 12. Ever since we forgot episode 10, I'm like paranoid that we're going to forget every single episode. So I need to start saying the number. It's 12.
I've just been guessing.
Okay. Well,
It's like we're on episode 100 at this point, but
we might as well be. It feels like it.
it's interesting.
Yeah. Well, what did you do this week, Jake?
What the fuck did I do? What did I do?
I don't know.
Wow. No, can you give me a moment? I actually completely blanked out this week. It was maybe
I also can't remember what I did this week.
so it was clearly not very eventful.
Yeah, it was a pretty boring week. Oh, I had my last serving shift on Friday. I'm full blown
Oh yeah, she's done.
corpy gal now. Yeah.
Kind of.
Well, I mean, I'm sure I'll probably get a bartending job on the weekend somewhere close by my apartment pretty soon. We'll see how everything goes. But
the fuck did I do? Oh,
Were you arrested?
The ambulance going by. No, I wasn't. Not yet, at least. That might be my Uber. I don't know. I don't think I did anything. I think I was kind of lame. Nope. Yeah. I pretty much I'm just hitting
well,
one.
something happened to you this week, but we can't talk about it because it involves our guest later.
Oh yeah. Well, yeah. I mean, I'm 1 month no drinking now. And
Oh, it's already a month.
yeah, I really don't have any urge to go back. I like my little energy drinks and iced tea now.
That's awesome.
Yes,
I love that.
I mean, I need something to perk me up to be around people. I hate being around people.
Yeah.
I used to be so extroverted, but that introverted side is dominating me right now.
Yeah.
Like I used to be like whoop whoop whoop, like bopping around. Now I'm like, I could be completely fine just watching my ceiling fan go in circles for a couple hours.
That's depressing.
Okay, well that is.
Jake and I have been spending a lot of time FaceTiming the last couple weeks playing this like farming game that we both really like.
Oh yeah,
That's what we've done this week.
Stardew.
Stardew Valley. I don't know if anyone that listens plays that, but if you don't get it, we love
Yeah, I
it.
guess I had like a little surgical procedure on Monday, but
Oh yeah.
yeah, but just stuff down your throat into your stomach when you
She
have.
got a tummy tuck.
Yeah, shut the fuck up. I've had enough of that surgeries. No, I didn't get a tummy tuck. But if anything, it'd be for. Is that for loose skin?
No, it sucks out fat from your
Oh.
stomach. So you have loose skin afterwards. I think you have to like surgically get the skin fixed.
Yeah, no, I didn't have a tummy tuck.
Mm.
But we do have a special guest today.
We do have a guest today. Everybody give a round of applause.
A round
for
of a
Kim.
warm welcoming. The silence is
Hi, Kim.
deafening.
That was my little tiny
Nice
class.
to be here.
Yeah, so
Welcome.
Kim has been in the industry for how long? Do you want to reveal that number?
Well, let's see.
A long time.
45 years.
For how long?
Jesus.
45 years.
And she's our first anonymous guest. So this is going to be
Kind
juicy.
of anonymous, yeah.
No, she's anonymous.
Yeah. So 45 years in the industry.
45 years.
That's crazy.
Where did it all start?
I was a car hop at Dog and Suds.
It sounds like where you wash like dogs.
No,
It does sound like that.
that's just what it was called. It was a little dog and it had suds around it. So the
That's a
root
car.
beer.
That's a dog wash.
So root beer, hot dogs, and
Oh.
so Dog and Suds. That's why they called it. It was just like an A&W drive-in.
Were you
So
on
people
skates?
used to
Did you
order.
have roller skates?
No,
No.
no, I
That's too
probably
much.
would crash. Although I knew how to skate, but it wasn't not very even.
Pavement.
No.
That's probably why they didn't have roller skates.
No, and people just drive up and they had a board and they push the button when they're ready to order. And then you had a board in the inside and you would push the button so you could hear them. And then you would just write down their order.
Like a Sonic.
Oh, yeah. I guess in your day, Sonic, but
Well, A&W is not really
Wait, that's
around
pretty
anymore.
like technical though. Like for 45 years ago, they had like a radio to order through, right? Was that like the first of its kind, or like?
It's not like she was around when the TV first came out.
No, but 45 years ago is like, it sounds like a long time ago.
That was the 1980.
That's when drive-throughs were really popular. A&W was.
You
in
act
town.
like
they
it's
did
like
have
the
a radio.
Stone Age.
No, I mean like
Like, were you on a
I'm
horse and
picturing,
buggy
like,
on
the
your way to
touch
work?
screen.
We did, however, have only 3 channels on our TV, but
What, really?
yeah, and it would go off at midnight, and they would do the
Like, there was no channels after midnight.
no.
what did you do after midnight?
Usually, people went to bed at a normal time.
What if you were a bartender?
Well, I don't know. I was just a kid, so I used to babysit, and when that TV went off, I knew it was past midnight, and I should probably be going home soon, and they should be getting home soon because the TV would go static.
That's
Oh,
crazy.
nothing?
That's kind of scary.
It was kind of scary.
When does it come back on?
I don't know. Sometime next day,
5
like
a.m.?
5 probably,
Yeah. Wow.
or 6 o'clock in the morning. But yeah, there was nothing, no night TV.
Wow. Kennedy would have never made it. She has
No.
nothing to listen to. She has to sleep with a TV
I have to
on.
sleep with the TV on. Yeah. That would have been miserable.
She was an iPad kid.
No, I wasn't.
just kidding. No, actually, no.
I was a
couldn't-
kid from a divorced home, so I just
Oh,
needed the
okay, well,
comfort.
we didn't have to take it to that level.
That's for another episode.
That's for the Patreon.
It drowned out my parents fighting. No,
It's
I'm
like,
kidding.
let's move on.
That's for the Patreon, yeah. Bonus episode.
You have to
Kennedy's
pay for that.
childhood
So
trauma.
do you want to know what you had to do then? Then you had to put the food on the tray, and the tray, they had to make sure their window was rolled up a certain length, and you would put the tray on the window,
Oh,
and
on
they
the
would
window.
eat in their cars.
Oh, did you get tips doing that?
Yeah.
Oh, was it nice?
What was the tip percentage back then?
I don't know. I had a lot of money, though, because I was young. I was 15 years old. So I just kept saving my money. I bought myself a nice bike, and I had lots of money.
That sounds awesome.
So,
And then,
go ahead.
well, your tip wasn't included like it is now in your check or whatnot. They didn't
Yeah.
record
It
it,
was just
so
cash.
then you also got paid.
And you weren't taxed.
That's
on it,
nice.
probably.
Was it like a livable minimum wage?
A minimum wage, I can't even remember. It was probably like
Well, I mean, like what? But like, there wasn't like a separate like tipped wage.
no.
Wow.
They just left it on the tray. So when you came and got their tray, when they're done, they'd beep you, and you come get it, and there was a tip on there for you.
Wow.
Wow, how times have changed. Now you get paid $2.18.
Yeah.
It's probably the same as it was back then.
Yep.
Probably.
Oh my god.
To Minnesota, they get that
Yeah,
$10.
Minnesota it's like $12 or something.
It's like, yeah, it's high now.
Ridiculous.
Chicago's like 9.
It's not like a bad thing. It's a good.
But it was a
ridiculous.
great job. Fun.
Yeah.
So then, what happened after that? What?
Well,
was-
because it's a seasonal job, so only in the summers was it open.
yeah.
Because I can't imagine going out there in a blizzard and dropping off people's food in open window. No. So that was a seasonal job. So then I picked up a job at Hardee's.
Oh.
When Hardee's was like doing big back then. wasn't
Cashier?
it?
Or were you cooking burgers?
I did both. So on the weekends, I made breakfast. So I learned how to do all the cooking for breakfast, and then a couple nights a week, I would do the cashier, the front part.
Oh, that's awesome. So you were a cook and a cashier.
Wow. This
Yeah.
Yeah.
is just crazy.
Yeah,
To
that's
me.
cool to hear about. What was your next job after that?
Yeah.
I babysat for Mrs. Jerry's salad.
Wait, really?
Yeah.
Yeah, she's from Minnesota. She's from my hometown, and so I babysat her kids during the summers. Took them to the pool every day.
She has
Good
like
nanny.
she has like an empire now, doesn't she?
Wait, she actually, I think, sold it finally. But yeah, so Mrs. Jerry's salad, potato salad, all that. Yeah, I babysat for her.
Oh, that's awesome.
Yeah, she was our neighbor across the street, and then as her business got more successful, they moved on the other side of town in a bigger house.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Wow.
Damn.
Okay. So where did we get where did
Where do
things
we
get
start, like,
serious?
heavy industry, like
Yeah.
serving.
Like
Well, then after I graduated, I moved to Duluth and went to college, and I worked at this place called Town Crier.
Oh, I like that name.
Why does that sound like a crazy
It was
college
in
bar?
the old Hotel Duluth.
Really?
So it was creepy because
That place sounds haunted as hell.
Yeah.
so they had a lot of different rooms. So they had the blue room, the cabin. So they're all themed areas.
Like
the
hotel
terrace.
rooms?
Like
So,
off
like-
of Murder.
So in the main restaurant, they had different, the blue room, the terrace. So, every room was different. And you had to wear these little milkmaid type uniforms with
Oh my God.
a little bonnet, like a little round bonnet that you look like a milkmaid girl.
Yeah.
What is a milkmaid?
Long
Long
skirt.
dress, an apron.
I have to
And
look
then
this
a
up. I
little
don't think
apron. You look like a little Dutch person, and then
bonnet,
a little
yeah.
bonnet, the round bonnet.
They would milk the cows back in the day.
this is what you were wearing.
But the hat was round with a little. It had a little.
Yeah.
Yes,
Oh
that's
my
exactly.
God.
That's hilarious.
That's a costume.
We need
now.
to put that on the Instagram. Can you send that to me?
It was the funnest job.
That is so funny.
Oh my God.
Then we had a ballroom, so we had events too. So we had a ballroom on the third floor, and then another one right behind it, which it looked like an old library. That's where it was spooky. So that was a smaller thing. But the
Did you see any
elevator,
ghosts or anything?
elevator you had to take up. We had to take the service elevator up, and it was like haunted.
Stop. What would happen?
Did you ever see anything or hear anything?
No, everybody was freaky, crazy. They just hurried up and got things up there and got things
You
down.
just scare yourself because
That's
it's a
like
scary room.
Chicago with rats.
Yeah.
But it was a whole
Wait,
old
I had a-
Hotel Duluth. It's been there since the beginning of time.
Yeah.
Yeah.
For Duluth,
Since it was
the place.
like when people would move, first moved here, probably.
Yeah, I mean, it was a coal mining area up there and very wealthy. So yeah,
Do you have any crazy memories from your first real bar serving job? Did you ever see anybody do anything crazy or stupid or get kicked out? Or...
Well, I kind of overheard a glimpse of you moving to Florida.
well, so when I moved to Florida, so the innocent person I was, Minnesota people are. Really, we were. When I moved to Florida, it was an eye opener.
Wait, that's shit show.
So the good people of Duluth, Minnesota weren't doing anything crazy in bars. Then she moves to Florida, which is the crowd,
The drug.
crotch
It was
of the
actually
country.
the drug place of the world back then because all
It's
the
by Cuba.
smugglers.
It was in the 80s.
It was in the 80s.
Kim's got a text message.
foaming up.
It was in the 80s. So, but anyway, I worked at this place called Tony Roma's. Is where I got my first job. Well, I worked at Bennigan's, but that was short lived. And then I got a better job at Tony Roma's, and then the same kind of outfit, but it was a short little skirt, no hat. And it was I had to wear ruffles. My dress was short. And then ruffles as panties.
Stop. So you had to be showing some skin at Tony Roma's.
Yeah,
like a Hooters.
kind of.
Kind
Oh my
of like an
God.
Italian Hooters.
That's hilarious.
Yeah. And so I was waiting on these people, and I took their order, and you get their food really fast. It's a rib place. And I dropped off their food, and you always check back in a few minutes, make sure everything's okay. Well, the lady was passed out face down in her ribs, hot barbecue sauce, and the guy was leaning back, passed out, and I'm like, oh my, I thought they died. I didn't know. And then the other server, who was a seasoned server and a seasoned Floridian, started laughing at me because she knew I was pretty new, green to that area. And I'm like, what happened? I was like, I thought we should call the paramedics or something. She goes, oh, they're probably on Quaaludes or something.
Oh, no.
Jesus.
So the guy ended up waking up, and I'm like, oh, just get us a couple drinks. We'll be fine. And she's still passed out in her ribs. I'm like, I don't think I can do that.
Not in the ribs.
God.
Baby
Yeah,
back.
we'll just take 2 vodka sodas.
Can we have a to-go bag for our friend? They
Then I used to wait on,
put her head in the bag.
do you remember Gloria Estefan?
Yeah, wait. My dad actually built her pool.
Wait, what?
Yeah.
So Gloria
guys are
Estefan
connected.
and the
Yeah.
Sound Machine. That's what they were called back then. They used to come in and eat with us.
'Cause where did you live in Florida? Was it Tampa?
The place I work with, North Miami Beach.
Okay, yeah, because I used to live in Vero Beach, and that's where she resided for a while. So,
yeah,
but that's
they-
close to Miami.
They used to come in after their things and eat.
Oh, that's awesome. Was she nice?
Yeah, they were nice.
Hell yeah.
They weren't big like they were. So they were just Gloria Estefan and the Sound Machine.
Oh my gosh, like right before she made it big? Mm-hmm. You were there
Who
before it
else?
happened.
Who else would go in there?
Well, because the place I work, Tony Roma's, the original Tony Roma's, I know Tony Roma. I know his sons. I know the original chef of Tony Roma's, David Smith, all those.
Oh, cool.
But right behind us, there was a railroad tracks, and behind that was a recording studio for all these big artists. So they'd come and record there. So after, if they like barbecue, they'd come and eat with us. So I used to wait on Greg Allman of the Allman Brothers.
Oh,
Oh
wow.
my god!
Yeah. And I didn't know who he was. He goes, "You don't know who I am?" And I'm like,
Oh, what a jackass.
No.
no. And this is kind of later, because one of his brothers, there was two of them. The other one died.
Yeah, I knew that.
He got in an accident. So he told me who he was, and I knew who he was then because my brother used to listen to their music. Mm-hmm. So yeah, he'd say, "Don't tell anybody I'm here," because he was drinking. He wasn't supposed to be drinking.
Oh, no.
Like before he went in the studio.
No, he wasn't supposed to be drinking. I don't think he was really doing anything back then. His life is kind of he was just kind of washed out then.
Yeah. That's
Yeah,
sad.
and then Whitney Houston came in, Cher,
Yeah,
You know this?
It's crazy.
That's insane.
Jerry Lewis,
What?
the comedian Jerry Lewis.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh my God.
So when I started bartending, all the producers used to come and sit at my bar after they were done. And so I'd find out who was a rotten singer, who they had to do a lot of mixing with, and they kind of head out.
You could hear it. Yeah.
Yeah. So they would hide out in the backside of the bar so no one would bother them.
Oh my gosh.
But
that's
so yeah,
funny.
I knew the people that everybody wanted to know. It was funny.
That's so funny. And you got to hear all the things.
Who
Especially
they
when you bartend, you hear everything they all say.
Who did they talk bad about?
Yeah.
Paula Abdul. They said
Oh, no.
I've heard she's horrible to work with.
they
She
said
has a
that
lot
they
of
had to do a
attitude.
lot of mixing with her music.
That is so funny. I'm not surprised.
Oh my god.
Oh my gosh. She just was actually in the news recently because she used Facetune on herself to give herself like makeup or something, and it made her look like a teenager. Did you see that?
No.
I'll send it
That
to you.
sounds like very
It's
Abdul.
like I'm gonna post on the Instagram too. Actually, this is gonna be a weird Instagram after this episode drops. People are gonna be like, "What?"
I love this.
So
It's the
in
Milkmaid and
yeah,
Paula Abdul.
It's okay.
back
so-
in the 80s, that's the way it was. I mean,
Yeah.
they would get people who looked good together versus people who sounded good.
Yeah.
It was just that was the 80s.
aesthetic.
So yeah, it was an interesting place to work. And then all the drug people used to come there too and sit at the bar and play dollar poker.
The
So they would
tabs?
look at their dollars and the numbers on them. I don't really know how to play it, but they would play that. But anyway, one day all of a sudden they were all gone. They got busted.
So the bar was just empty.
So yeah, we used to have a full bar of them, and then they were gone.
Damn.
That was a big bust back in
That's some good tips right there.
a lot
Yeah.
of drug
Dealers.
runners. Easy come, easy go. Yeah, I got back then the largest tip I got was $1,000 from
my
one person
God.
for one drink.
Stop for one drink.
Oh my
Yeah.
God.
Why,
One drink, $1,000.
Wow.
Why'd you ever leave Tony Roma's? Why'd you ever leave Tony Roma's?
Well, I'll tell you. But we used to have Billy the Book that used to sit at the bar too. So he was a bookie. So all these people,
Billy the Book.
Billy the Book.
I like that name.
So they would all book their bets with Billy the Book. And he was just an old crotchety man, but he was kind of gruff, but he really respected women. So every time at Christmas time or
That's so nice.
anything, he'd always give all the servers, and it was mostly female servers back then, a nice thing for Christmas, a nice amount of money.
Wow. That's crazy.
But the story goes that he used to bury his money in the backyard.
Well, bookies make a lot of money and it's a lot of cash too. That's like basically a drug dealer.
So everybody wanted to know where he lived.
Yeah. He used to take the long way home.
How was Tony Roma himself?
Well, I met Tony Roma. I didn't actually meet him when I worked at Tony Roma's.
Oh.
He opened up a restaurant called Tony's Pelican Harbor, and that was down closer to Miami, so closer to South Beach. And his son came in and asked a few of us who worked at Tony Roma's if we'd be interested in working there. So I still worked at Tony Roma's and worked part-time there. Oh. So Tony Roma was a gangster.
Oh, yeah.
Gangsta. Is he still alive?
He's from Chicago, I believe.
Is he in Mafia?
I think, yeah. We had some interesting characters that came to Tony's Pelican Harbor.
Did they tip well? Did they tip well?
Yeah.
Always.
But he came up to me one time and he always used to fondle the girls, like touch their butt or get close to them or kiss them on the cheek. So he was coming up to me one day and I said, Mr. Roma, you can look, but you can't touch. And he loved me for that. Mm-hmm. He treated me like gold compared to everybody else.
Yeah, he's like, damn. He's used to getting away with everything. And then she's
But
like,
that was like in the early 1990s. So we actually had handheld computers back then from NCR.
yeah.
That was the first time they were ever out.
The first
Wait,
toast.
that's the one that used the code from
PLUs.
Yeah,
Price
and then
lookups.
they made like literally like portable computers for the first of its
So
kind.
you'd open the tablet up and flip pages to get to different menu items, and the screen was this big.
Stop.
Really?
It was that
It was
small.
like tiny. Thank God I had good eyesight then. Yeah, and then so all the side orders, you'd have to put the PLU number in.
Did you have to memorize all these numbers?
They were just
Oh, on the pages.
there. It was on the inside of the book,
Oh my God.
but you remember them after
Yeah.
the regular ones after a bit of time.
Yeah,
But we had a food runner, so we'd get like huge sections, like
yeah,
15 table sections
Oh my
because
God.
this place was huge. They had parasailing there, they had a pool, they had all kinds of things. So it was a open restaurant, outside restaurant. It didn't have walls except in
Wow.
the kitchen.
Holy shit.
So like
I love restaurants like that.
in the
Florida.
wintertime, they had plastic things that came down, but it was all made out of wood deck. It was huge.
Yeah,
Yeah.
So you
Damn.
were just living life, making plenty of money in Miami.
Back then, on the weekends, I'd make $500.
wow.
I mean,
That was a lot of money back
that's
then.
can still be pretty good depending on where you are.
That's true,
If
yeah.
you're in the burbs, that's probably like a pretty average weekend.
yeah,
But like we'd have concerts like there because we had
a stage or something.
a stage there, and then what are the Hansons brothers?
Yeah, that sounds
I
familiar.
think so.
Yeah, they came once, and so I was smart enough to have everybody pay me out as they went.
Oh yeah.
But other servers weren't, and then it got really busy, and so a lot of people lost money. I did not, but
Did they make you pay if they didn't pay last?
well,
back
they
then?
didn't really realize what was going to happen because they were like heartthrobs to people,
Yeah.
young girls, yeah.
Oh, so it was.
So people got out of their seats, and how are you gonna find them in a crowd of hundreds of people?
That's true.
That sounds like my worst nightmare.
Well, it wasn't
Yeah.
mine, but it was others.
You were just watching.
Well, no, I made them pay the minute they ordered, I made them pay me because I kind of knew what was going to happen. It was going to get crowded,
Yeah,
and somebody could just get up and leave, and you wouldn't know.
yeah. I've definitely like dealt with that my fair share, especially working at like a crowded
Yeah, you didn't have like credit cards and
college
stuff
bar
back
or
then,
something.
did you?
Yeah, was it all
No.
cash?
Well, you didn't have a credit card that actually went on the internet. You had you slide it.
Oh, the manual ones. I've
Mm-hmm.
had when the electricity goes out, it's like chunk.
Yeah.
What?
Yeah, and these like pieces of paper.
Yeah.
That was like normal then?
That was normal then.
I thought that was
But to get back at Tony Roma's,
Like makes impressions of it or something? I'm like, is
you
that
want
why
to know
they're,
what
is
the
that why they're
smoking
like,
policy was for the employees?
what?
So they would sit. So each customer that ever got a basket of bread, and that was
The ashtray?
no. The server station and the basket bread, and the servers would be smoking at that station and put their cigarette down in the ashtray and get them bread and butter and go over there.
So you had
And then they come
cigarette
back
bread?
and finish their cigarette?
Yeah.
Oh my God.
So servers would smoke right in front of the customers at their service
crazy.
station.
That's insane. I've been to some places where I've seen like servers or bartenders like vaping in where you can see them, but I feel like that's a little different than like physically
Smoking
smoking.
a cig.
And there was
Yeah.
not a non-smoking area. It was
It's everything, yeah.
smoking.
Yeah, good luck. I mean, smoke travels.
Yeah.
Wow. So what happened after that?
After those two jobs,
Yeah.
I went to work for Brinker International, which you would all know as Chili's.
Oh, he's like a Brinker
yeah.
International.
Brinker International.
Brinker.
Yep.
How was that?
So, because I moved away from,
Miami.
I moved up more like towards it wasn't Coral Gables because that's south.
Coral Gables is that really exclusive
But I lived in
island,
Pine Island. It's not Pine Island.
Is it kind of like Fort
like
Lauderdale?
Plantation, that area. So it's more out west. And that's where the big Sawgrass Mall is now and things like that. Davie.
Oh,
Yeah. So I moved further up. So it was a long kind of drive to go down to North Miami.
Yeah.
So I worked for Chili's.
How was that?
what'd you do?
Well, I was a corporate trainer for them. I served and bartended. But
Was it different back then than it is now, or has it always been?
to become a bartender was like the top of the line.
Oh, that was in the bar I worked at in college too. It's like that was like the peak promotion.
Yeah, it was a promotion to work the bar.
Yeah.
Made way
And
more
so
money.
what I did for them is I did all the South ordering for their liquor. So all the South Florida Chili's called me on Sunday night, left a voicemail on, I guess, the common line, my line. And then I would pick up the orders that night, Sunday night, and then I'd call in everyone's order for where it needed to go to what store that needed to go. So it was
Interesting.
yeah. I loved that job. It was a good job.
Sounds like a good job.
Damn, Chili's, of all things. How long were you there? How long were you with Chili's?
7 years.
Oh my God.
So
That's a career.
where, okay, just for reference, at the end of these 7 years, what time frame are we in?
So it would be in like 1993 or 3.
Wow.
Okay.
I started Tony Roma's. I worked there a long time too. I mean, I was young, so I started back in 1983 or 2.
Wow.
That's crazy.
Yeah.
Okay, so what happened after Chili's?
Well, I did move. So I left Florida and moved with Chili's to North Carolina.
Okay.
And I worked there, and then I got pregnant with my son.
Oh,
So then I moved to South Carolina,
Yeah.
and they didn't have a Chili's there, but Brinker had a store that they opened, what was called On the Border. It was a Mexican.
They
I
still
remember
have it.
those. They
It's still
still
around.
exist.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I after I had my baby, I worked there.
Oh, fun.
So I stayed with Brinker for a long time.
Good company.
Yeah.
Yep. And then there was a new restaurant opening called Max and Irma's. And so I waited on the people that were starting that, and they asked me if I'd come work for them.
Ooh. Did
so,
you?
Yes, I managed there. They gave me a set hours because I said I can't do it because I have 2 kids. So they gave me set hours so I could have babysitter, and I always worked set hours as a manager.
Wow, that's unheard
Yeah.
of.
Yeah, but that's the benefit of being a manager. I feel like
Yeah.
you have like
having-
more of like a consistent paycheck and hours.
and
And
schedule and stuff.
Yeah, and
Yeah.
they gave me, at that time, they gave me $300 of food allowance so I could bring in my family. Those
so
were off
nice.
times. So my kids got to eat a lot at the restaurants.
yeah,
Yeah, that sounds right.
the tracks.
That's that. I mean, I would do the same
And then
thing.
in South Carolina, they had mini bottles like you see on the airlines.
Yeah.
That's how they serve their alcohol.
What? Why?
Because their law. There were some dry counties, and if you so
Oh, so you couldn't have like large format liquor bottles. You had to have like the mini ones per cocktail.
The reason why is because you could only have so many ounces in a glass.
Oh.
And right at a certain time, like at midnight, if somebody you couldn't finish your drink. The manager had to physically remove it if you weren't done.
Really?
What?
It was a law. You would lose your liquor license.
That had to have sucked.
Yeah, especially because there's people who travel through that. It was off the interstate that weren't used to having their drinks taken from them if they didn't finish it.
Yeah, I feel like that negatively impacts the service.
But there was no lingering. There was no last call. It was
midnight
Out.
drinks
Bye.
are gone. Bye.
midnight done.
That'd be
I
kind
wonder.
of nice.
That's probably because like there wasn't an easy way to do inventory or like count how much was going into each drink. Like that makes it a lot easier. It's very wasteful. of
Yeah, so a Long
bottles,
Island
but-
iced tea was in a mini bottle.
So you get to open up all those bottles.
Yep.
I hate opening up those little things.
You got used to it.
The noise it makes.
Which I bet you would use your teeth.
Oh, I have. Sometimes they get stuck, so I gotta use my teeth.
See you like
When I'd be on planes and stuff, yeah, it was not.
Yeah, so
I don't have to
the
worry about it
restaurants have
anymore.
changed. Restaurants have changed a lot since when I mean, people were rude. I mean, servers got away with being rude to people.
Yeah.
Like if they got a bad tip, I know a server that went out in the parking lot and threw the money at them.
Oh my god.
Take this, you need it worse than I do.
Yeah, that's unheard of now. Like you
Yeah,
cannot.
no.
Yeah, it's like you can get fired for doing that now. Or like if someone doesn't pay you, like I know some people that would like chase after them and they would get fired for like chasing after them to get their payment. So
Yeah, nope, that's a no.
yeah.
What's the craziest thing you saw when you worked in the restaurants?
I think I pretty much talked about a lot of stuff I saw.
Yeah.
Well, one time a fight broke out, and this is when I lived in North Carolina and worked at Chili's.
Oh no.
Not a fight at Chili's.
Yep. And it just freaked me out because they were friends and they were sitting at a table together. I thought they were friends. They were all sitting at a table together, and all of a sudden this guy is bouncing this other guy's head off the tile because
No.
Chili's all had tile in it. I thought he was going to die.
My
Oh
God.
my god, that's so scary.
What do you do? What'd you
You
do?
call the cops.
You just wait it out.
Well, I wasn't going to get involved in that.
Yeah.
I didn't know.
What was the transition like? What was it like being a woman in the industry back then? Because I feel like Kennedy can vouch it's a lot different than now, I feel like.
Yeah.
Well, there weren't really any male servers. There were male bartenders,
Yeah.
but it was not common to have male servers. And customers always just treated you like flirted with you.
Oh
and-
yeah.
yeah.
I've worked at places where they only allow women to be servers still, like in this day and age. Not in Chicago, but in other places I've definitely worked.
Oh, yeah.
Like in Austin and Iowa City, yeah, both places it's only female servers and only a mix of male and female bartenders, mostly male bartenders though. Because the bartenders can close down and be key holders, and like they didn't really want women to do that and close by themselves, which is understandable, but
I've seen servers drink at work. One got so drunk she couldn't walk.
oh no, I've seen that too.
Yeah.
And so it
Once
was
or
like,
twice.
I think we need to send her home.
Yeah, it's time.
Yeah, like I don't know, like I'll just take her tables.
What's one thing about the service industry that you don't think people know? Like people who have never worked in the industry.
They don't know the lingo.
Yeah.
Sometimes you aren't happy to see certain regular customers walk in, but
That's
you're always
true.
nice to their face.
That's true.
But you're like, oh no, they're here.
I saw a story on Facebook the other day about I think it was like a parody story, like it was making fun of something, but it was like this server at like Chili's or some chain restaurant they mentioned enjoys the guy who comes in and gets a soda with free refills and like the free chips and salsa or something, and then leaves like a $1 tip or something.
Yep.
And then everyone was like commenting and they're like, this has to be fake.
This has to be fake.
Yeah, this girl's like, I just love my job and I really want to be a career server and I really just enjoy providing service and I don't like, it's just a job. I don't need the money, whatever. And so if somebody commented, they're like, either she's like a brand new server and is just like having fun right now, or like this is a complete lie.
What kept you in the industry for so long?
It's good money. It's flexible. So you didn't have to. And I liked the work.
Yeah.
It's different than office people have no clue.
Yeah.
I mean, you work with a variety of different people, and it's every day is different. Depends on who's staffed that day, and the customers are always different. Of course, you have your regulars, but it was different. It's still different. I still do it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I enjoy it because then now I have my accounting degree, and I still enjoy serving better than I do
Yeah.
the professional, because that atmosphere is way different than restaurant atmosphere.
I feel like you feel really accomplished after like a good shift too. And like it's easier to be passionate about it because you're working with people that you love and you're getting to do something that exercises a muscle that you don't get to exercise all the time. Like being able to talk to people and give them an experience that they're not going to forget. Like I know I feel really good if someone goes out of their way to be like, you were great, or like leaves a review or something like that. I feel like that keeps people in it too.
I mean, yeah. I mean, I'm very, the customer service that I'm used to is different than you see in the younger, I spoil the guests. You know, I know what things, so I always, if they're a reservation, I always make everything set on the table that they use, remember what they have, and people like that.
Yeah.
And you just like seeing those faces, you know, you get used to it. It's
Yeah.
hard work. I'm not going to say it's not. You work when you work in a restaurant. I don't think people know that.
Yeah, and it's physically draining too. Like there are some days where like your feet hurt so bad or your back hurts so bad, and everybody was mean to you that day for some reason. You don't know what happened to make everyone hate you so much, but
Yeah, but I don't
so
think
rewarding.
people
Personal.
realize that
yeah.
the kitchen staff,
I just had my last service and I'm feeling real emotional.
like when somebody modifies something so crazy, the kitchen staff gets mad at you, not the
Yeah.
customer. And so they take it out on you. Like, why can't they just order it the way it is?
It's like, you want to come out here and do my job and see what it's like? Like people,
Right.
and then when you try to explain to someone like, this is going to be hard on the kitchen, or like I've done that before where I've been like, there are real people that are back there doing this, you know, like they make mistakes, I make mistakes. And I've had people get mad at me for things before that I can't really control, or like say I forget to bring something in, or I don't know, like I make some sort of mistake, and then I'll be honest, I'll be like, I forgot to bring it in, or I'll say the kitchen forgot it if I feel like blaming someone that day.
And like you're telling
but-
me, like you've done your whole life in your professional career and never screwed up once.
Exactly. And I'm like, this woman was so angry at me that I didn't ring in her like potatoes or something. And I was like, I looked her dead in the face. I was like, I am a human being. I made a mistake. I've apologized to you twice now. Would you like the potatoes still or not? I can have them out to you in 2 minutes. And she was like, fine, I'll take them. And they came out in 2 minutes, hot, ready. Didn't hear a word about it again. But it's like,
I had a person once.
you have to talk to them like they're kindergartners sometimes.
But I did a funny on a regular customer once.
Oh, go ahead.
So did you ever see that commercial where this guy's sitting at the table and he orders a sandwich? He goes, I don't want mayo on the sandwich. And so when she brought the sandwich to the table, it was like a diner kind of atmosphere.
Yeah.
And he goes, I asked for no mayo. So she picked up the sandwich, wiped the mayo on the edge of the table, and put the top part back on. That was awesome.
That's
I just
hilarious.
love that. So I actually did that to somebody once.
What?
Yeah.
How mean does someone have to be to you to do
It was
that?
a regular customer. And I said, oh, they put mayo on it. Oh, and then I flopped it back on there.
What do they
And
do?
they just looked at me like, and I'm like, I'll get you a new sandwich. I just had to do that. It felt so good.
Oh my God.
My God.
But like I worked in a place where at 10 o'clock, all the managers got together and the bartenders and they took a shot of whiskey. That was the thing.
Yeah. No, I know some, like a lot of bars in Chicago, they do like, it's almost frowned upon if you don't do like a pre-shift shot with everyone. Like I've heard
Really?
of a lot of places like that. Yeah.
Not the places I worked.
I'm not going to know. They're not nice places. They're like
You would
very
bring a
dive bar.
flask or something.
What?
You never
But
knew.
yeah, I don't think the average person could ever keep up with remembering all that a
No.
server does.
No.
No.
Because they don't realize that you might have an 8-table section and you got 5 tables all at once.
Yeah. And they all want, like, I know what drives me nuts is when I'm really busy and then I have one table that's like, I need a napkin. I go get the napkin. I come back. They're like, I need a ranch. I'm like, okay. I go get a ranch. I come back. They're like, can we also order some more fries? And you literally stop and you're like, is there anything else you want before I leave and come back? Because like,
I ain't coming back again. Well, the
no,
people like
I will
that,
run away.
People like that I know, and I'm like, I ain't going back. You see them staring, waving. I'm like, I'm just pretend like I'm so busy.
Yeah.
They run you.
Eventually, like they'll just
They
move
make
on.
you work for your money for sure.
But nope, I look at all their drinks, even if they don't need a refill. I bring all refills, this, that, everything that they could possibly ask me for. It's there.
They'll find something. There's just those people that anytime you go over there, they'll find something.
One thing I love, I know a lot of like suburb restaurants do this, but in Chicago, a lot of restaurants don't have like toothpicks. And something I've been getting a lot recently is people asking me for toothpicks. And I started giving them like skewers that we use for cocktails.
They don't care.
I'm like, if one more person asks me for a toothpick, like, what is this? A Cracker Barrel? Like, no, here's a skewer, a bamboo skewer.
We
But,
don't have them.
yeah. Oh my God. Or people are like asking for like Advil or
And then there's
Tums or
some
something.
people who get hired as a server that should just not be a server.
Oh yeah.
You're just never going to get it. They
Especially like there's some first time servers, surprisingly at really nice restaurants in Chicago that hire people that have never served before. I'm like, what are you thinking? We're not desperate for these people. Like, and it's just so like, it's just, you have to have like a certain bone in your body to do it.
It's a little bit of free entertainment though, watching them.
It is.
I mean,
yeah.
if you're a slow mover and not a multitasker, it's not for you.
No. PSA to anyone considering joining the serving community.
You have to.
Play some Diner Dash before you
And
get
that was
into
the
it.
worst. Like when you'd have like somebody that had no serving experience, and then like the management would be like, "Can you help this person?" I'm like, "They have 2 tables." I'm like, the only way you learn is if crash and burn a little bit. So
That's true.
Sink or swim, baby.
Yep.
I'd be like, anyways, I have the other half of the restaurant completely full, so I will be back later.
I remember my first serving job in Chicago. I had never worked at a job before where I had to present wine to a table. So I learned literally like a year and a half ago. It was my first time I learned how to open a bottle of wine for a table.
Bottle of tables out of wine.
Well, the
And then I,
presented.
like-
I love that.
Yeah.
The
And
first
then
time I ever did
I was working
that,
at like one of the most high end Greek restaurants in Chicago. And like I literally learned how to open a bottle.
Well, when the
year
cork
ago.
breaks, it's no fun.
Yep.
Oh.
First bottle of wine, cork broke right away.
Really?
I looked at him. I'm like, I'm just gonna keep digging this out. I don't know. Let's hope for the best. Well, it didn't work
That's
out.
when you're talking to them, and you just keep twisting it, and you know, keep talking to them, get them not focus on the bottle, and you usually can get it out.
No,
Yeah.
I was like about to cry, and I was like, I don't know what to do. Have you ever cut your hand on the foil too, and then you're
Yeah.
bleeding?
Oh
you're
yeah, like a
bleeding.
Grey Goose bottle or something. Or
You're like, opening a bottle of wine. You're like trying to hide the blood,
Yeah,
but like
kinda.
still
Yeah.
keep going.
oh my God, many times. And there's also been places I've worked where they're like, take the foil off before you get to the table. And then some places are like, no, don't do that. So it's like you just never know. But I did bottle service once, and I got cut on my hand from a Grey Goose bottle, and then I went back the next time that somebody ordered a Grey Goose bottle, and I removed the foil at the bar before I brought it to them. And literally, I kid you not, I walk over with it, and they're like, why isn't the foil on it? Like the table. And I was like, I cut myself last time, so I removed it this time before I got over here. And they were like, can you bring us a new one? We had a bad experience once where like we got a fake bottle of Grey Goose. I was like,
Well, taste
Okay.
it. Just take a swig out.
yeah,
of
I'm
it.
like, who wants a shot?
Yeah, like I'm not gonna give you
No.
water.
I like that's insane though. Like what was their bad experience that someone took a bottle of Grey Goose and poured in like Barton vodka? Like I don't understand.
Yeah, or water. Or
That's
whatever.
insane.
Like it's like a vodka
I
and
was
water
like-
mixed together, so it's watered down.
Yeah, but I was like, whatever. I'll return this bottle to the bar. They can use it for cocktails, and I'll just take a new one. But I was damn sure I didn't cut myself.
I'd
I
be
was
like,
very
you
careful.
can take the foil off then because I don't want to.
I think he actually did. I
Like,
think he actually did.
I don't want to cut my hand again. I'll be walking out here with stitches.
Yeah, yeah,
Oh, so in Chicago, they serve a whole bottle of booze?
yeah. Like it's like high end
Oh,
cocktail service. So like you basically are a bottle server, but you're in like an apron and like you're not like holding sparklers and stuff really. Yeah,
It's like a
tableside
newer thing, I
cocktails.
feel like.
Yeah, it is. Yep. If you have a really big group, it makes sense because you end up saving money and it's like bougie, but it's really annoying for the server. Well, the server makes a lot of money off of it, so it's exciting for the server, but also it's like now not only are you like doing all these other things to the table, but you're also like a bartender for them now. Like you're making their cocktails for them. And sometimes people are like, "Can I have some jalapenos? I want a spicy margarita with vodka in it." And they're like,
You can't
"All
like
right."
really say no when you spend like $500 for a bottle to sit at a booth.
Exactly. I'm like, "I'll go get your cucumber."
Odd request.
Odd requests.
yeah, there's a lot of things that goes on in the restaurant.
What would you say like servers and hospitality staff now would really be blown away by something like back in the 80s that you used to work with?
Okay, so in order for you to be a server back when I started serving, you had to know liquor.
Oh.
Oh, like all the brands and like
You had to know.
What?
So, yeah. And so for instance, we used to have to set up all our glasses in order of how to call it, and you had to call white to dark. And they would just pour the liquor in it. You put all the ice in the mix and everything. Unless, of course, it was like a margarita or
Something you
a
just-
martini, they would
Yeah.
make it.
Wow.
So we had to tell them what liquor went in each drink.
vodka,
Holy
rum,
shit.
tequila.
Yeah.
gin,
So it was a
damn.
lot more work for you guys.
You had to know a lot more. And if you didn't, people weren't patient with you.
Ooh,
more cutthroat.
Yeah. So,
Yeah.
like the bartender would just not deal with you.
So you just wouldn't get your
You
drinks made?
couldn't call it right. You didn't get it.
Oh, shit.
So there was a lot more stress, like doing your job right.
yeah. I think we need a little bit of that
Ah,
now.
people are harsh.
Yeah, they didn't put up with
They'd
anything.
make sure you didn't make it.
They make sure you didn't make it if you sucked. Yes. They
Damn.
would get you out of there.
It's a hard knock life.
So it was not an easy.
Yeah. They were like,
And you had to work up to, like, people would stay at their job forever. Like, I worked in places you made great money. And there would be servers. So you always had the same crappy section.
Yeah.
It wasn't a rotation. You had to earn your section.
Oh my gosh.
So if somebody left, then that would open up. But if you were the bottom of the totem pole and these servers had been there for some 20 some years, you did not get a good section. You had the same section. So you would have they actually had a section called the baby section. And you would have that, and the seating would be the last anyone would ever want to sit at.
oh my God, I'd be so mad.
The baby section. That was like you on the patio.
My patio section was like 20 tables.
Yeah, I mean, and then you'd have a lot of side work. You had to earn your spot in the restaurant business.
Would you have more side work being the new person than
Yeah.
like, Like a whole seniority thing.
I feel like the restaurant industry has definitely changed a lot from that. I feel like when I was in college, it was kind of somewhat similar to that for a little bit, but like something changed in like 2016, 2017 that like pre-pandemic
Well,
and post-pandemic.
I think people started complaining, and then labor laws started.
Yeah.
But yeah, you just didn't complain. You wouldn't have the job. You would be out.
Are guests typically the exact same as they were, today as they were back then? Same kind of.
No,
Are the guests different?
they weren't as demanding. They came there to eat
Yeah.
and to drink. It wasn't about there wasn't any special drinks like a little dash of this, none of that. None of that.
Straightforward.
It was straightforward. So people came, they drank, ate, and left.
Wow.
It wasn't sitting around, taking up your space. It was, you came to eat. And I think it was just, they would look at you if you sat too long.
Yeah.
People wouldn't take.
Yeah, we
shit.
we had a maitre d',
Yeah.
and they would make sure that you did not sit past your time.
They'd enforce it too.
Yeah, they would ask people to leave.
I would love that.
Yeah.
Like, yeah, you gotta go.
The customer was not always right back then.
Honestly, how it should be, to be honest. Like,
If you didn't like it,
Yeah.
sometimes the managers say, "Then just leave."
There are some places that still are like that, and I wish every place was kind of like that. But it's just gotten to, I mean, I think it depends on where you're going. I feel like if you're at a place that's like focused on like hospitality, way different story. Like the customer's always right there. But if you're going to a place that's more just service, like hot dogs and burgers and pizzas and beer and rum and cokes, different. It's like they're not gonna like allow you to talk to their employees that way because first of all, their employees aren't making enough for you to talk to them like that, and also like there just isn't that like hospitality spin to it where it's more about like you come, you eat, you drink, you leave. It's not like we're not here to be your servants.
yeah.
So.
I'm sure there was places like that, but the more hospitality. But there were the upper end. I mean,
Yeah.
those were amazing jobs too, I'm sure. But it was different.
Yeah.
Customers weren't allowed to be so brass with people.
Yeah.
Just wasn't tolerated.
They were just, because going out to eat back then, everybody did.
Yeah.
Now there's so much competition. There was less restaurants. If you didn't want somebody to be there, you just refuse them service.
That's very true. I feel like the restaurant industry has blown up so much the last like 20
Yeah.
years. Like completely different than what it was.
I have another question. What were the main differences and just in general between the smoking and non-smoking sections of customers?
Yeah, not much. So at Chili's, it was one side of the restaurant versus the other, and the bar is in the middle.
Yeah.
But the bar you could smoke. So the non-smoking, it certainly did smell like smoke in there. How could it not?
Yeah.
Especially if you got the smoking section and you think about it, what if everybody's smoking and there's 20 tables in that area? You're going to be walking through a cloud of smoke.
You're just getting.
I didn't even notice it.
Were people different?
But yeah, the smokers were nicer. The non-smokers weren't.
They tip more. They're more casual, probably.
Yeah, they're more down to earth, like whatever. That was the better section to work is in the smoking section.
Oh my god.
Yeah.
That's so cool.
People were more relaxed.
People need to be more relaxed in general now, I feel like.
Yeah.
My god.
But yeah, I mean, then I worked at an Applebee's, managed an Applebee's, and there was so the bar, same thing. Bar's in the middle. You can smoke in the bar and you can smoke in the smoking section. And on the other side of the restaurant was non-smoking, but
it all mixed.
It's smoke all over.
Yeah, like you
I
can't.
mean, there isn't a wall.
Because it was pretty much open too. Like,
Yeah, it's wide open.
Yeah, no, I was on like the tail end of smoking, non-smoking sections.
really?
Like, I mean, I went into restaurants that were like smoking and non-smoking
Yeah, in
section.
episode 1, we talk about this, so we remember it.
Yeah, but not
It's a vague,
not
dark
to that.
memory.
But Tony Roma's was not. It was all smoking.
Oh my! I just would not. They can't even have scented candles in restaurants now. Imagine having a smoking in your restaurant.
No, you can't wear cologne. You can't do anything.
No, because it like messes up the palate. That's
I
so
have
funny.
No idea.
No, yeah, no, they didn't care.
Like some of it's made up.
I feel like this is really interesting. Like hearing about your history. You've served like all over the country, which is really cool. Not a lot of people have. So
Do you have any more insight for us?
yeah. Any last minute thoughts?
It's, it's always it's a great way when you're going through school, college,
Yeah.
to have a job in the industry, to make your money and not have to work so many hours. I don't know why more people wouldn't do it.
I agree.
And it gets in your blood and it never leaves.
That's true.
Yeah,
Amen to that.
that's probably why they don't do it.
Because you always
up
look,
like-
if you say, oh, I need to make extra money. Like I was an accountant and did all that and had weekends off. And then I decided to go back in the restaurant business because my son was going to college and I wanted to help out. So then I started working in the restaurant business again. That's how you make fast cash.
It's very true. It's easier to save it too when it's cash. You just put that in your piggy bank.
Yep.
Wow. I
So-
think this is exciting.
So
That's a
if
good
anybody,
episode.
why would you work hourly when you can you can make as much, you can make really good money.
Yeah. Side hustle. Who needs an Etsy shop when you can just go clock in and serve for 6
Yeah,
hours?
like you work for $20. Say you work for $20 an hour and you work a 20-hour week.
Mm-hmm.
You can make that in one night
Yep.
serving in a restaurant
Yeah, pretty
100%.
easy.
for
yeah.
4 or 5 hours.
Yeah.
So why wouldn't you? And in Minnesota, where I work, you get $10.59 an hour plus your tips.
Yeah.
Can't complain about that.
Love to hear it.
Love it.
All right. Well, it was a pleasure having you, Kim. Thank
Yeah.
you so much.
I hope you enjoyed it.
Yeah. I hope you had fun.
Yes, I did.
Heck yeah. All right. Well, thank you guys for listening. What's your shot of this Sunday? I feel like this is like an
Kim, what was a
outdated-
big shot back in the 80s? Like, what's a crazy shot people used to order?
Crazy shot. That's when they had like the screaming orgasms and things like that.
All right,
shots.
we're gonna do that one. Our shot of this Sunday is the screaming
I have to
orgasm.
look this up. Yeah, so everybody
That's what they did.
I love it. Oh my gosh.
screaming orgasm. Let me look this up. Hold on.
I tried to end the episode and Jake's pulling it back into
Oh,
screaming.
my
orgasm.
safe search turned on. Vodka, coffee liqueur, amaretto liqueur, Irish cream liqueur, and single cream. Ew.
Is that a blowjob shot?
No, they put a dab of whipped cream on the top.
That's a blowjob shot.
Screaming orgasm.
Did you take it with just your mouth? Like you go,
Yeah.
that's a blowjob shot.
Yeah, it's
But they had those too.
What? This is a different mix.
It's different liquor in
There's
it.
no amaretto in a blowjob shot, I don't think.
No.
Interesting.
huh.
All right, well, on that note,
Yeah, pretty. Have
thank
fun
you guys
ordering
for
that.
listening. We'll be back next Sunday with more.
Cheers, you guys.
Cheers. Bye.
Bye.